All right, we're finally at the point of welding the 4-link brackets on. We've got everything 100% squared up, measured from axle flange to axle flange. We're exactly even from the outside of this bracket to the outside of the axle flange here. And then the same thing from here to here. We're identical on both sides. We measured the inside to the out, and from the inside of this one out, everything's identical. And then we're leveling everything with the top of the axle housing. Like this surface here is going to be parallel to this mounting surface here, which is a great reference point for everything else you're doing. So we're just referencing this is at 0, the top of this flange, and this row of bolt holes is at 0, and then the top of this flange and this row of bolt holes is all at 0. That gives us a good starting point. So if we put this in the car with this perfectly straight up and down, our pinion angle will be at 0, right? Does that make sense? Perfect sense. So then we can adjust up and down from there. So when we build our 4-link brackets and set everything up, we'll find a neutral point, set everything at 0, and then we'll have adjustability from there to go plus or minus 2 or 3 degrees on the pinion angle, whatever we end up needing to match the driveline angle and the engine and transmission angles. So we're going to start tacking this all together. We'll get a tube cut that's going to go in between here and here. We're going to put an 1.5 inch, just a mild steel 120 wall bar I have. It's going to go between these two. And we're also going to fill this space in here for a little extra strength. We're going to weld a short piece of bar in here, really strengthen this thing up. And then when we're all said and done, we're happy with everything else here. We're going to leave the bar in for the fixture is going to stay in place. And then we're going to also weld a bracket down, just to gusset from right here down to the top of this bar. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side from here to the top of the bar, which is really going to triangulate everything. Remember, triangles are super strong. So just in case you were wondering what all this apparatus is here, we just put these threaded rods in with some nuts, and then loosen it up. We just put these threaded rods in here with some nuts, and that just keeps everything spaced evenly. We can move the nuts, and we can pivot the top in or out, which is going to square everything up. So this thing's 100% the same measurement, top to bottom, left to right. Everything is square, everything's perfect. I know that there's adjustability in your heim joints, but you want everything to start out as 100% perfect as possible. Let's face it, we don't want to have to make up for things with our heim joints. We want to make things 100% right from the start. All right, so we've got everything tacked up on the 4-link brackets as far as onto the axle tubes. Everything is 100% square. We actually ended up adding some extra washers to space this everywhere else because I thought I had enough, but then we started taking some measurements and making sure the heim joint fit, and the heim joint wouldn't fit down in the back here. So this had actually sucked in for whatever reason may be, even though with just a little bit of heat. So we spaced this. Now we're going to go on. We're going to weld these small pieces of 1.5 inch 120 wall bar in as support in between the plates to keep everything true there before we put in our long piece. We've got this piece that Sean cut for us. This is going to go all the way through here, just like this, and then that'll tie this whole back end together. And then we're going to throw some extra additional bars in from here to the center of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to put one right under the center. We'll slide in. That way, if we ever jack up underneath here, this never gets bent and sucks in. Because you figure if this ever was to get bent in, it would pull in on the outer ears of your 4-link bars, which obviously would not be good. So just want to reinforce everything we possibly can. so that if we do put a jack under here, this thing never moves. And being that it's a truck, it's a little heavier, we want it strong. So we've got all the welds on the outside of our 4-link brackets done. Everything in here is done. On the inside's done. Outside, everything for the 4-link brackets is done. The main tube is in here. The support, the little gussets inside here, finished, welded. Now I'm just making up this little puck that's going to go down inside here. Just, you know, it's cut out something like that. Nice and simple. The reason I'm putting this in here, I don't know. Maybe this doesn't matter. But to me, I think it's a smart idea. I'm centering it so it is off center on the center of the pumpkin here. But it is, you know, it's centered between the two 4-link brackets. The reason I'm doing this is if I feel like if you put a jack underneath here and this bows after a while, maybe it won't go anywhere. But if it did anything, it's going to suck in on the bottom of the 4-link bracket. So just a little support right here, and I'm going to weld that in. And then hopefully tomorrow I'll have time to finish up the extensions on the rear brace on both sides. It's going to be kind of a job to make it look right, but I want that to continue out, be equal on both sides. And then last but not least, we're going to put 2 braces like this. This might be overkill, but it is what it is. We're going to put something like this. This is going to keep the brackets from being able to shift left to right. So again, maybe it's overkill, but I don't think any extra strength is going to hurt anywhere. Done welding for tonight. Here we are. We got this stupid little piece welded in. Getting in those little corners is a complete pain in the ass, but we did it. So that thing's solid. I think that tomorrow I'll be working on these extensions, try to get this finished up and looking right. I might only come out to here. I might not continue it on. Maybe it looks a little bit half-assed without having that continuing on after there. I don't really know. I just wanted to point out that we are putting a drain plug in this thing. It's an All-Star Performance drain plug. I think Summit sells these. I think I got these on Amazon. That was like maybe 15 bucks or so. And then I'm putting a fill plug in there. I'm not too crazy about this big cap, but it is nice and convenient to be able to grab. But it's a great fill plug. Another thing, All-Star Performance 36161 was the part number. I think this thing was 30 bucks on Amazon. You can get this, add it to your rear. It's a simple install. Once we get there, I'm gonna pop one hole in, and I'll show you how I do it. It's just pop a hole, clean it up, weld around it. I mean, this thing's already, you know, you drill the right size hole. Here, let me cut it open and show you. It's already got a recess. Now, not that I'd be able to, and you know where I'm going to put this. I could put it like this. I think I'm going to actually cut it in and put it something like this. And you know, maybe that's not the best thing to do, but I kind of have another idea in mind about that. If I put it in on an angle like that, I'll also be able to look inside and check out the ring gear teeth if there's any kind of issues going on. So that's kind of something I want to do. I'll be able to, you know, get in there. There's a little access plug. I can take a look at things, see if there's a chip or anything like that, rather than having to pull the whole pumpkin out. Just a thought, something to keep in mind if you're doing it. It is a nice little aluminum plug. You know, this threads in. It's just a, you know, this O-ring boss here. Probably like an O-ring boss thread. Threads together nice. Lock it in. We also have this, you know, this drain plug. The drain plug is definitely a little bit easier. I don't have to mess around with weird angles. It's just a regular 1/2-inch pipe plug in there, but you just drill a hole this size, which probably about 1 inch, right? I'll measure that for you when we get there. Oh, here we go. Right now. So yeah, you're gonna drill a 1-inch hole with a hole saw, step drill, whatever you got. Pop it in. Like this one here, I got plenty of room even after putting my extra pieces in here. I'm just gonna pop it right in the bottom, just so we can get to it. The bar here for the 4-link, it also is gonna help to protect the top of that pipe plug. So we'll get that in there, get it welded up, and we're ready to go. This thing's ready for the races. All right, talk to you later.